Thank you, Mr President. It's a really great privilege to stand here tonight in support of a petition of almost 11,000 Victorians to retain the Lord's Prayer here in the Legislative Council. This is an important issue because it is a symbol of the place of faith in our society, as well as here in the Parliament. It also forms part of our history and of this country, of this Parliament and our Westminster system. It is well known that our parliamentary system here in Victoria and Australia descended from the Parliament of the United Kingdom, the so-called mother of the parliaments. The layout of the House of Commons, as faithfully honoured in this chamber and the Legislative Assembly, is a result of one of its earliest meeting places, the original St Stephen's Chapel in the Palace of Westminster. The benches facing each other, as in a church, and even the position of the Speaker's chair on high, like an altar, come directly from this legacy. I would also like to acknowledge those from the northern suburbs that have assisted with this petition, particularly the Catholic, Assyrian, Chaldean, Syriac, Orthodox, Muslim and Maronite communities, many of which are here today, and I thank you for that. And I was proud that almost 11,000 people supported the Lord's Prayer. Of those, almost half were from the northern suburbs of Melbourne. I'm conscious that of my faith communities in the north, they've seen this film before, which starts with religious ridicule, then to removal of faith from society, and it ends with the very persecution that forced them to flee to come to a free country like Australia. I want to specifically mention Farah Nur. Farah is a Somali of Muslim faith in Preston. He's a former member of the Greens and he cares deeply about religious freedom, which led him to make the very sensible decision to leave the Greens political party. Farah was a sponsor of this parliamentary petition, and it's credit to him that he's been able to use his voice to stand up for freedom of religion and for all faith communities. He recognises that freedom of religion is not just a Christian issue, which is why you see even the Board of Imams supporting the Lord's Prayer. Since 1987, the Lord's Prayer has been a long-standing and formal part of both houses of the Victorian Parliament. The recitation of the prayer is a common tradition of the Westminster system, and together with the acknowledgement of country every day provides a vital link between these two very important facets of our society. Multi-faith communities play a very important role in our multicultural society. Any move to secularise parliamentary proceedings would send a clear message from this parliament that faith has no place in Victoria anymore, and that would be a very sad day. And I'm not opposed to people boycotting the prayer every day, and those who often do are the first to preach to us about tolerance. I couldn't think of anything more intolerant of faith communities in Victoria than if you sought to remove faith from this place. It would be sending a very clear message that faith has no place in Victoria. The Our Father, at its heart, is a simple prayer and a call to love and serve others before ourselves. To serve others before ourselves is exactly what we're here to do as elected members of Parliament. When I brought the motion to this House about the Lord's Prayer, a member of the Labor Party jeered across the chamber, "What about the separation of church and state?" It's completely misused in Australian context. The phrase draws its origins mostly from the US context, which was predominantly put forward to protect not necessarily the state from religions, but to protect those of fervent religious beliefs from the threat of overbearing government. It certainly doesn't mean you need to leave your faith at the door. As representatives, we will make decisions informed by our values, and those values at times are inseparable from our faith. Some would say the Lord's Prayer is exclusionary. It is evident that those who support the retention of the Lord's Prayer that it's deeply inclusive, which is why you see the Board of Imams supporting the Lord's Prayer, the Hindu Council of Victoria supporting the Lord's Prayer, the Anglican Diocese of Melbourne supporting the Lord's Prayer, the Catholic Archdiocese of Melbourne supporting the Lord's Prayer, and the Australia-Israel Jewish Affairs Council supporting the Lord's Prayer. So I call on all members to reflect the role not only of faith but of diversity and values in the deliberations you and all of us take in the execution of our duties in this place. Almost 11,000 Victorians have signed this petition in just a few weeks, and they undoubtedly represent thousands more who wish to see faith represented, acknowledged and respected in this parliament. And I rise in jubilation because we have somewhat of a back down, an admission from the government that they will no longer pursue workshopping a replacement for the Lord's Prayer. And I note that the Leader of the government said, I don't know any MPs who want to remove the prayer. Can I point to an article from 2021? Attorney-General Jaclyn Symes was the only government MP to speak on the motion and confirmed Labor would commit to workshopping a replacement model that is purpose-fit for Victoria. And another MP who wants to get rid of the prayer, the member for Frankston, said that he sees no need for it. And the Attorney has on several times committed to workshopping a replacement for the prayer. We see a back down, that she's no longer willing to do that, and that is a good thing. And I'm glad we've been able to use the parliamentary process, as is our democratic right, to call on our community to support us. This petition was supported by the Archdiocese of Melbourne, the Catholic Archdiocese, the Anglican Diocese of Melbourne, the Board of Imams Victoria, the Hindu Council of Victoria, the Australia-Israel Jewish Affairs Council. Now, can I just say how extraordinary it is? You get all of those religious communities on a unity ticket to support the Lord's Prayer. It's not about, as Ms Mansfield said, exclusionary or not representing or representing just Christian prayer. It's an acknowledgement of responsible service to the people of Victoria is what the Lord's Prayer is. Leadership starts at the top. There is a reason why radical secularists target the parliament, because they know it's at the top, and we use the example of the ACT. Look at the path they've gone down. They've just nationalised a Catholic hospital. I don't think that's a good example of where to start. I'm glad the government's back down on this. It's a great day for Victoria.